Google Plus. Today's topic is it hurt. Yes, today's topic is it hurt. I'm going to give you some life principles to help you understand how to help a person get past that hurt. That's right. I'm going to give you some life principles to help other people how to help you help other people get past the hurt that they experience in their life. Um, I'm speaking about universal principles and universal laws of life that applies to the Bible. My topic is ye shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. Not set you free. Anything that's set is sitting still waiting to be caught. You'll hear me say that all the time. But anything that is made can only be made once, just like God made the world once. And from that point on, it's set to evolve. In other words, it gets better and better. I beseech you, brethren, by the renewing of your mind. Hey, Renita, how you doing, sister? Hope you had a happy birthday. And um, but I want to talk to you about. I'm continuing the topic of what happened in my life because I know I'm not the only person in life that experienced things. And if we understand how to help people, then we as people ourselves can be helped. Because when you help people, you also help yourself. And the thing is to understand the Bible well enough to know how to use it to not just improve your life and help your life, but to help other people. Because see, what I experienced in life, I experienced some hurt. And a lot of times it's not just the physical body that's hurt. It's the life of the person that's hurt. Have you ever seen a person walking, talking to themselves? It just seems like they're lost. It seems like they don't know what's going on. It just seems like they're just displaced. It seems like they're broken mentally. It's because they are. And they've experienced something in life. And I'm going to relate to you a story in the Bible. It should be from Mark chapter 5, verse 8. I think that's Mark. Let me double check. It should be uh, Mark chapter 5, verse 8. Um, when I think about this happened on my way home from Wichita Falls. I had been up there 3 weeks, well, 4 weeks in the hospital. I had already gone enough hurt physically. And I was hurt mentally. I was actually broken mentally, and there was more to be found out that was actually going on with me. Because as I said yesterday, my brother came to the hospital on the night of September the 5th, and he told everyone he was coming to visit me, but and tomorrow, well, probably, yeah, tomorrow, no, tomorrow I have an online meeting. Other, by the way, I'm in a member of the Dream Team family, online marketers. We're online. We help people understand how to restructure their life, how to make money online, and things like that. And with that, it allows you to have more control of your life. Because see, we have this thing called social media. We have this thing called the internet. There's a lot can be done on that to help people have a life. But a lot of times people don't understand how to use that to do that. And I understand how to use it. I've been taught how to do it because God has blessed me to be with people that help me restructure my life. I've gotten groomed by people. Now I'm grooming people. And through that, I'm also able to help people understand how to develop themselves as a person. I'm also able to help ministers understand how to develop as ministers. And when they develop as ministers, they'll be better developed to help people develop their life. So I'm going back now to September the 5th. My brother came to visit me, and he came all the way down to Wichita Falls. And he had them put me in, I had a wheelchair that was set up like a bed because, see, they could not hardly move me because had experienced a lot of physical hurt. But I was hurt mentally. My life was hurt. When you sit back and you wonder, when you finally see yourself and you wonder what's going to happen in your life. See, I had never seen anyone go through what I went through. See, I never asked God why it happened. I never asked why me. I never felt like, I mean, I didn't understand why it happened. You know, do you ever is there ever time that something happens in your life and you don't understand why it happened? And sometimes you spend hours or you spend days or you spend weeks stuck in a moment trying to figure out what happened, what threw your life off track. See, there's a story in the Bible, Mark chapter 5, I think it's 5 and 8, of a young man that was in a graveyard. His name was Legion. They asked why was his name Legion. He said because he was filled with so many demons. You read the story, you'll see about what Jesus did. See, the thing is, through all the pain that I was going through physically, it was not even any focus on what I was going through mentally. I went through a whole lot. And the thing, it was more to come when my brother took me out of the hospital. I know, you know, I was already blind. I mean, I was getting sight back in my left eye, but I didn't have sight in my right eye. See, this stuff hurts people when you are no longer able to function in a normal way. That's hurting. That's why people stay lost. Hey, how you doing, cousin Seven? And thank you for your years of service, Seven. My cousin Seven, he's Cabrita's cousin, but he's my cousin. He was blessed enough to retire from the police force. He put in a lot of years to keep the city safe for us to be in it, and I want to thank you for that, Seven. It's more than just people that are in the military. It's people that are civil servants in our everyday life that protect us while we're working and while we're sleeping. And I want to thank you for your years of service, Seven. And how you doing, Old? It's good to see you on, man. But what I'm talking about again is about life. See, it hurt. A lot of times in our life we experience hurt. We see people that experience hurt, and a lot of times we turn to ministers, we turn to the church. See, when people come to church or when people are walking around in life not looking like they know what's going on, it's because they're hurting, they're broken away from life, they're disconnected. And if there's not a way to help us understand how to connect them back to life, then to life they'll stay disconnected. See, we have principles of life. One of the principles of life is called autosuggestion. You have to constantly help people understand, suggest to them the things in the right things in the right way that helps them regain their connection to life. And then it's a auto suggestion, and that is one of the things that helped me. And then there's another principle in life called inspiration to action. You suggest to people what they need to understand. See, that was in the Bible. It's in Mark and Luke. The young man Legion that was filled with many demons. See, I wasn't filled with many demons, but I was set in place for a lot of demons to come in my life because I was hurting. It didn't matter about the physical part. You see, I'll cover the physical part as we were traveling. I'll cover Wednesday, Thursday, the physical part when they took me out of the hospital, because when my brother came and got me out of the hospital, I was still in intensive care. Believe that. Still hooked up to IVs and everything. They took me, I remember making three turns in the bedded wheelchair. I had a wheelchair that was like a bedded wheelchair. And he and another friend took me downstairs. And the nurse, it was the first time I had been out of that room in a month. Didn't even know what the hospital looked like. You see, it's a lot of things we go through, people go through, that shatters their understanding. And as an individual, as people, if we don't understand, then those people will stay disconnected from life. And when we see them, it looks like they may be functioning, but they're not, because I wasn't. Although I was still trying to regain my name of who I was breathing. They had finally taken me off the breathing machine, but I was still not functioning. I was not functioning mentally. I was hurt. My life was hurt. See, my life, not just the physical body, but my life was hurt. Just like the young man Legion, his life was hurt. See, who knows what caused his behavior? It was in the Bible. It doesn't mention it. There's not a question about what caused his behavior, but there is a cause that happens in a person's life, and the effect of that cause is the behavior, and the results from that behavior is what we see. Cause and effect is another principle in life. What is the cause that created the effect from the results of what we're seeing? That is a cause and effect. And what we saw, what we read about in the Bible is cause and effect. What caused that young man to behavior to be affected in the way that it was, to the result was the way that he was living. And he was so out of order with his way of living to where people were scared for him to be around. See, I understand what that was like, because although I had not reached that point, I did not understand what happened to me, and I didn't understand why it happened. But I did understand that I wasn't the only person that had ever experienced anything like that. And I knew, even though I was hurting, my life was hurting, I had to hold on to that which I was taught about, which is the Bible. I had to hold on because my life was hurting. My life was hurting more than my physical body. And one of the parts of my life that was hurting was that everything that had been put in place. See, we don't know what causes a pain in people's life. We just see the result of what the pain is causing. And see, just like that young man in the Bible, no one knows what caused his life to be displaced. The young man named Legion, but they do know that he became displaced from life because he was living in a graveyard. Now, in a physical world, a lot of people are doing the same thing every day. They're failing in their business, they're failing in their personal life, they're failing in their family life, and that means that their life, that their whole existence is just about perishing. And when you're perishing, it's like being in a physical graveyard. There's nothing good coming of your life. Your life is at a standstill. What do you do to correct that? And one of the things we can do is a principle called autosuggestion. Suggest the good actions in a person's life. It's a universal principle of action. Suggest that autosuggestion. You'll find it in this book, The Success System That Never Fails. You'll also find it again in this book, The Principle of Autosuggestion. Jesus suggested to the young man what he could do. And when he did that, the young man listened to Jesus' suggestion. There are, in us are business principles that were spoken in our life. In us are personal principles that were spoken in our life. In us are family principles that were spoken in our life. And along with that came laws also. The Bible is the what to do. The universal principles is the how to do. The universal laws is the why we should do. And seven, you understand that the benefit of people living by the law. When they live by the law, the law will govern in their life the right things that's supposed to happen. And as you know, seven, when they don't live by the law, again, the law will govern them by way of correcting their wrongdoing to put them back in position to do the right things. But if the right person is present, then what happens is they make suggestions, auto-suggestions like Jesus did, to help a person get back connected to life. And my life was hurt. I had never seen anybody go through what I went through. Didn't know if anybody gone through what I went through. But my life was hurt. It was really hurt. And I needed help to get that back together. And I understand that we have ministers, we have preachers and everything, but a lot of times they're theoretically smart because sometimes they're taught about the Bible. And I'm a preacher myself, I can tell you, that experience, I was already theoretically smart about what the Bible says, but I was not practically smart about how to do what the Bible said do. I was not practically smart about why I should do in the things in the way that the Bible said do. If I was, I would not I would have been a much better person than what I already was. And I was a very good person. But it's time for me to get out of here. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I only do this 15 minutes a day, but I'm telling you, my life was hurting, man. It's a lot of people life hurting. My goal is to share information and share training to help people understand what they can do to make their life better. And to help, and in the process of their life becoming better, they can be a better help to someone else's life. I'm Tyree Thomas Jr., a blog, trucking preacher, and the reason why I'm a blog, trucking preacher, although I appeal to a lot of different industries I've been in, I'm a blogger, I'm a retired trucker for my trucking business, and I'm a preacher. Thank you, Cousin Selvin. It means a lot to me for you to take time out of your day to be on here. Thank you, Anita. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Tex. Thank you, Otis. And for those that may be watching the replay, thank you. And at the end of the replay, when this video comes up, I'm going to put it on my blog and place it back into the comments so you can read other information on my blog. So come back to the comments in about an hour or less. You'll see the blog post. And if you like what I'm sharing, the help that I'm giving, I also do on every Saturday webinars, business webinars to show what God has blessed me to learn to restructure my life, because that is something that everyone can add to their life to benefit from this new way of life that we've been blessed to understand, social media and everything else. I beseech you, brethren, by the renewing of your mind, that you present your spiritual mind a sacrifice, that you may prove what is that good, holy, and acceptable will of God. Sorry about going over. I'm gonna do better with my time. But my life was hurt and I'm still healing. But thank God I'm in a circle of people that knows how to help me heal, and that is what I'm sharing with everyone else. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, a good evening. I love you all. And as always, wherever you are, keep bringing the energy, helping me so I can be a help to you. As always, thank you all. When you see me clenching my fist, it's because I'm still holding on. Be, be, be blessed. Thank you all. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.